What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you some ways to add movement and vibe with the Kaleidoscopes Multi-Effects plugin. We can turn this into this. It's all about creating a vibe and a little complexity, and it's not too complicated. Before we begin, take a second to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you can keep up with all the latest news, tips, tricks, and more from Waves Audio. All right, now let's dig right in. Let's start off on this drum loop. Right up the middle in mono. Let's see if we can make it sound more interesting. I've got my effects running in parallel, and I'm just going to turn off effect 2 for now and start off with just the chorus. I'm going to bring the depth a little above halfway, and then let's bring up the level control so we can hear that chorus effect. Let's widen it out with the width. You control the modulation rate with the speed. You can adjust it by frequency, or you can sync it to your session's tempo. If you switch to input, the speed turns into a sensitivity control, and the effect will react to the dynamics of the source. Let's adjust the feedback. So it sounds thicker, but you might not want that phasiness on the kick, so we can use the Kaleidoscope's trigger feature to trigger the effect on specific parts of any loop. For example, let's trigger the chorus on just the snare. So first, let's create a new track. We'll call it SC for sidechain. And then I'm just going to take this first kick right here and paste one directly under every snare hit in the loop that I want to trigger the effect on. Like that, and we get this. All right, let's mute the sidechain track. We're just using it to trigger Kaleidoscopes. So on the plugin component, you want to change the sidechain input to SC. Now on the interface, you have the trigger section. We're going to set this to re-trigger, select Use SC, and then we're going to set it to energy so we get a straightforward effect. We'll look into the rhythm in just a minute. For now, let's play it back and adjust the threshold. Threshold is controlling the trigger's influence on the effect. And the Kaleidoscope display responds visually to how it's working. All right, you also have additional ways to shape with 5 different analog characters. Each gives you a different flavor. You can cut off any unwanted low end or top end harshness with the filters right here. Let's warm up the effect with the drive. And then you can always blend in more of the original signal with the dry level. All right, so we managed to spread out the snare without affecting the kick. Now let's turn on effect 2, where I have the flanger. So on trigger 2, I'm going to set it the same as trigger 1. But let's use the flanger now to see if we can add a spaced out and moving kind of vibe to it. Check it out. All right, now we can further shape the behavior of it if we switch the trigger to rhythm. The threshold turns into a sensitivity control, but unlike energy, rhythm detects the transients of the input signal, in this case the sidechain, and triggers the effect based on the sensitivity level. You can also adjust the attack and length to adjust the onset and sustain of the effect. Check it out. All right, so you might not want to do this for the whole track, but this works great for adding ear candy on breaks or transitions. How far you want to go with the effects is all up to you, Either way, it's quick to dial in and get a subtle thickener or a tripped out effect, and the triggering feature opens up a ton of creative options. All right, now let's check out some hi-hats. I have these clicky hi-hats going here. Let's spread these out and add a little sugar with the phaser. I'm going to sync it and adjust the main parameters the same way as I did the chorus and the flanger. This loop is pretty dynamic with the tambourine hits on beats 2 and 4, so let's set the modulator to input mode so the effect reacts to the dynamics of the loop. Now, what makes the phaser stand out from the other effects is the min, max, and Q settings. You can use these to isolate which frequencies you send to the effect. Check it out. All right, so we get a nice modulated sound with the phaser. Let's turn on effect 2 with another phaser to add some movement and a slight sweeping effect. To keep it interesting, I'm going to set up another sidechain and trigger. Now, I already went ahead and created a second sidechain track. I just called it SC2, and I placed a ghost kick on every alternate downbeat. And don't forget to switch the sidechain input on the component, and then on the plugin, set it to re-trigger and use SC. And now we're triggering some movement. Now, you can tailor just about any texture you have in mind with these features. Let's hear all that back with the drums. Here's the before and after. All right, now this is also a great trick to add ear candy to things like keys, synths, and bass lines. I've got this grimy sine bass line. Now let's fatten it up with the chorus. Now, right here under the depth, you have the manual control. And with this, you can sweep to find that sweet spot. Another thing you can do is assign the parameter to your MIDI controller or write in some automation and create a nice growling effect. We can even sidechain the effect on the bass line with the drum loop and create a whole new vibe and pulse that follows right along with the drums. Check it out. All right, speaking of pulse, the last thing I want to show you is the tremolo. I'm going to use the sine modulator, sync it to an eighth, and then I'm going to bring the depth all the way up, and we get this. Now, to give the track a nice little vibe, I'm just going to play with the depth knob right along with the beat in real time and generate another movement to the bass line. Check it out. Capturing your modulations and playing with the parameters in real time definitely adds a life to your tracks. How subtle or colorful you want to get, it's all up to you. All right, so we treated the snare, some hi-hats, and synth bass. Let me play back the whole thing in the mix so you can hear the final difference. Here's the before. And after. You're looking to add unique texture, or you want to create more interesting sounds or beats, the Kaleidoscopes plugin opens up a ton of potential in terms of generating color and feel, whether you want a quick enhancement or to get psychedelic. To learn even more about the Kaleidoscopes plugin, visit waves.com/KS. But before you head over there, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for the latest from Waves Audio. And until next time, thank you for watching.